Disclaimer: I am not affiliated with Glitch Productions nor Liam Vickers in any way. This is a fan-produced video of the Murder Drone series and all characters are associated and completely owned by Glitch Productions, and please support their official YouTube channels and buy their merchandise, and there's no link in description. Find it yourself, you sassy baker.
Hello guys, so you may have already saw by the thumbnail and title about like pitches. You may have heard like tons of pitches. You watched tons of pitches of this show called Murder Drone Season 2. Now my pitch of Murder Drone Season 2 is not technically gonna be, it's theoretically Glitch Productions could also make Murder Drone Season 2. The problem is that they do not have the proper amount of resources. Now what I mean by the word resources is that I do not believe that they have the budget to distribute it to all of their other animations, like the Digital Circus and the Gaslight District. I do not think they have the budget to make a season 2 out of Murder Drones when they're focusing on other shows, on their other animations, like for example the Gaslight District or Digital Circus. Same thing with Liam Vickers. Liam Vickers has been working on Murder Drones Season 1 for ever since maybe somewhere between 2020 or 2019. Liam Vickers was doing this during 2019 to 2020. And he's been doing that until the very end in 2024. Now, yes, I believe that he can actually make a Murder Drone Season 2, but right now he's probably focusing on other projects and maybe, let's say, taking a very long break. Like, seriously, even my friends at school say that they deserve, the Murder Drones deserve a Season 2. Now, most people already made their pitches, okay? Now this is my own pitch, because recently there wasn't like tons of pitches about like the human cast. And as a guy, we could clearly tell that planet Earth was recently blown up by Sin because of the Absolute Solver. Okay, it destroyed planet Earth, and now there's like nothing but rubble remaining. The main problem is the actual problem itself. You see, we barely even got screen time for our human cast. Yes, our human cast may got like less screen time than Shay. However, they actually got more screen time because, as what we can see in episode 2 of Murder Drones, we can see humans. Now, as what we can tell, my theory is that those are not humans, because, well, you can clearly see humans will look like this. Like, you can clearly see their eyes, nose, and mouth, including their ears, but they look like shadow people. Now, if you do not know what shadow people, I think that's like some sort of creepypasta or some kind. But yeah, they just look like shadow people. They're not like actual humans. Now, I watched this one Murder Drone video about Sin. It's basically where Sin takes over the entirety of planet Earth and then breaks it apart. Now, as what you can see, world governments, including the United Nations and even other organizations like NATO, failed to defend, well, planet Earth. However, my pitch for Murder Drone Season 2 would technically change the entire view of humans in the whole show. Now, here's my pitch for Murder Drone Season 2, which the first episodes, which is what I like to call it, the new human invasion, or what I like to just call it, the invasion of Copper 9. And then later, in somewhere in like episode 3, okay, each planet, let's say Copper 9, will have 2 episodes about it. And then later we shift to planet Earth, where in episode 3 of season 2 would be called the Battle for Planet Earth, or the second Battle of Planet Earth, as the Battle of Planet Earth already ended. And you know, the fact that the humans put all of their fundings into, let's say, drones. Now, you may have heard of these organizations before, but there's an organization that you may have heard. It's called the MDR. Now, what does MDR stand for? Well, it's kind of called the MDRF. The MDRF stands for Murder Drone Research Foundation. Now, the Murder Drones Research Foundation is an organization ever since the defeat of humanity against planet Earth. Mankind has been defeated. Okay, all life on planet Earth has fallen, but mankind itself was not defeated, as there are like other planets that are still remaining that have like human colonies inside. Now, you may have heard this from an entirely different pitch. What kind of pitch? Well, I'm talking about this fella. His pitch for Murder Drone Season 2 was, he talks about a human organization, or what I believe is an organization. It's called the Human Respiration Coalition, also known as the HRC. Now, there's no logo for the HRC, but the HRC, because of what the bullshit that Sin does on planet Earth, on what Sin did to humans, to the humans' home planet, we could clearly tell that the HRC has a hate for Murder Drone Seas. They're technically independent, runaway AI, and yeah, any runaway AI from the HRC is viewed as a threat to humanity. It would be neutralized no matter the cost. Now, that's probably enough yapping. Besides, let's just get to my pitch, okay? Remember, the HRC thing that I was talking about is from another person's pitch. I'll probably put the link down below in the description, so that way you can see it for yourself. Now, let's take a look at episode 1 of Murder Drone Season 2, also known as The Invasion. Okay, I actually scrapped the episode 1. Episode 2 would be called The Incomings. Yeah, I decided to scrap the first episode because well, I thought, why? Because since I want to combine two pitches together, specifically my pitch and this guy's pitch. So Adam, the guy from the HRC, which is a loyalist, wants to kill Uzi. Because if you watch this video, it's very obvious. He wants to kill Uzi because, well, Uzi has the absolute solver. However, since they hunkered down, no matter the cost, they would try to hunt Uzi down. Until suddenly, bullets started raining from skyscrapers. Where we take a look at the characters of the new, where the camera immediately zooms in at our protagonist. Yes, the protagonist took an episode to appear, which is the new protagonist of Season 2, by the way. His name, Ryan Jones Johnson. He's a 15-year-old kid, the founder of an organization, a top secret organization known as the Chaos Control Cooperation. The Chaos Control Cooperation, like any other organization, tried to defend planet Earth but failed. And since Ryan fled to Copper-9, and then suddenly the last rocket left, but Ryan and 45 other guys, which includes his friend Perseus, which is a now equal, and this other guy, his name is Kai, and this other dude named Michael, which, since there's 45 of them, actually it's 47 because Ryan and Perseus are the leaders of the group. But first, before we go into that, let's go into Kai's description. Kai was actually a kid that somehow got drafted into World War III. He's the founder of the MDR, like I mentioned. Michael, no, not, and Kai, if you're watching this, no, it's not the one that works for JC Jensen. His name is Michael. So his name is Michael Jones, okay? Yes, the same middle name as Ryan's. Because Ryan's full name is Ryan Jones Johnson. Now, Michael Jones is a a loyalist to the CCC, and since they spotted the HRC, which they thought, because they actually haven't heard of the HRC before, and since they thought they were disassembly drones, well, those non-friendly ones that tried to attack the drones, because fun fact, they actually did not care about the situation with the worker drones. They were just trying to survive on their own, on the freezing temperatures of Copper 9. They immediately opened fire. Bullets started raining from buildings, ceilings, and even balconies, until suddenly a vehicle shows up. A straight up armored vehicle with a fucking 50 caliber turret opens fires on them, killing multiple HRC drones in the process. Suddenly Adam appears and Wolf strays a white flag, literally yelling cease fire. When they stopped, okay, when Ryan Jones Johnson, Kai, Perseus, Michael, and the others immediately stopped firing, they were confused, because obviously, why the hell would disassembly drones surrender with a white flag in their hands while yelling ceasefire? Adam introduces himself, but obviously the CCC did not give a single fuck, okay? This includes the MDR. They immediately opened fire again. One of the main reasons is that they actually supplied the worker drones. They actually helped the worker drones because the worker drones actually gave them food and water, which is how they managed to survive on such an apocalyptic planet. By the permission of Condorman, remember this took place after the events of Absolute N, when the group was actually, the 45 people group, actually 47 people group, were low on food and they didn't have resources, well, the proper amount to be exact, to distribute it to them. So they struck a deal with the worker drones that are inside the colony, where they give them protection in exchange for food and water. Okay, later, one of Kai takes out an RPG, shoots at Adam, destroying it completely. Of course, obviously, the other HRC drones immediately opened fire. By the way, did I forget to tell you that the survivor group of the Chaos Control Cooperation, in collaboration with the MDR, which includes, well, the SCP Foundation, including other units from the United Nations Global Occult Coalition, because why fucking not is my pitch and I do not care on what the actual fuck you say. They got an Apache helicopter on the scene. They got a whole ass kill streak. They immediately deployed the helicopter, obviously, which was actually residing in an abandoned airbase, where 20 people were actually controlling the airbase, which they call themselves the backup team for the survivor group. Of course, 20 out of the 47 people, which is technically half, resides in the airbase, while people are in the skyscrapers, in 2 skyscrapers to be exact, were living in, well, obviously the skyscrapers. Immediately, multiple transport cars, 2 of them to be exact, holding all 20, actually 10 out of the 20 soldiers from the airbase, because, well, the others were actually being deployed by transport helicopters, immediately land and open fire. Now Ryan, which is actually a dude, he had like all of his gear with him, okay? He wears like tons of armor, okay? Like seriously full body armor, making him look like a juggernaut, except he doesn't wear those like bulky ballistic helmets, no. He wears one of those like helmets where there's like a visor, but yet allows you to like put on a headset because, well, he needs comms. Not only that, because of how loud the battle was, the headset actually, well, mute the sound for him, because after a few magazines he's probably gonna go deaf. So he tosses a grenade, killing another HRC drone. But once they found out that Adam, which was the guy demanding the ceasefire, died, they immediately stopped shooting. And instead, they immediately contacted the worker colony, saying that it's now safe because, well, they actually occupied them. They even captured their launch pods, to be exact, because, well, they belong to an entirely different planet called Kepler Euclid 5. Cause they were meant to evacuate before Copper-9's core exploded. However, the bullshit that happened, because since they couldn't make it to the rocket ships in time, they had to reside in blast shelters. Okay? Now, and then suddenly, the worker drones come out with Condorman himself exiting. Which includes Uzi herself. Later, the drones and then later, Uzi spills the beans. Uzi spills the beans, saying that, well, there are technically humans controlling disassembly drones. Which, before Uzi even gets to say her first words, she was immediately startled by the presence of humans killing disassembly drones, which she took out her railgun to try to open fire. But then later she was pinned down by the capturing specialist, which tased her and then, like, literally dead ass put her in a fucking cage. Later, after Uzi spills the beans, that's where the episode ends. Yeah, that's really the whole point, okay? I'm not trying to make this a 37-minute video here.